Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's On at disneyplus.com. It's time for a quick Disney Plus news roundup. We're going to be talking about the Lando Disney Plus series. I'm going to be talking about Disney Plus not being able to hit its streaming targets. Talking about ABC being up for sale, Disney cancelling stuff, and a whole host more. It's a really jam-packed show. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. So let's start off talking about the Lando Disney Plus series, because this was initially announced back at the Investors Day back in 2020. And in all honesty, we have heard very, very little about this project since, because, yeah, it's been like 3+ years. Earlier this year, we did find out that Donald Glover was going to be creating a series with his brother Steven, and yeah, that things were going to be moving again, but with the strikes going on, nothing much has really been moving along. However, his brother Steven took part in a podcast this past weekend and kind of let it slip that in actual fact they're now going to be turning this into a film rather than a Disney Plus series. Kind of went around the edges a little bit, didn't want to go into too much detail, so we haven't got a huge amount, but it has been confirmed by the trades that it is now a movie. Now, I will say, I assume it's going to be a theatrical release, not a Disney Plus original film, because let's be honest, there seems to be no point in releasing it as a film on Disney Plus because you can make some money. Now, obviously, Solo, a Star Wars story, didn't do amazing at the box office, and that might be why we've not seen a second one. And this is in some way almost like a second one through the back door. I think a film might be a little bit better. We're definitely seeing Lucasfilm kind of shifting its focus back to making films rather than making Disney Plus series, because essentially they make more money than Disney Plus series do, and essentially we get a little bit less. I think some of the Star Wars shows are a little bit kind of full, a little bit too much filler, and therefore the film's a little bit tight, a little bit better story, and maybe Lando will just work better as a film. Also, maybe Donald Glover can commit to a film rather than a full series. That obviously takes a lot less time to do. Now, obviously, sort of in terms of Star Wars films, all we've had for the last few years is we're doing this film, we're doing this film, we're doing this film. This person's making a film. That film's, we haven't seen any of them. Nothing's even started filming yet. So there's definitely a case with this one and go, yeah, you've been doing this for 3 years and we've heard nothing about it. Hopefully we get something, but this could be years away. Absolute years away. Yeah, let's get these other ones out that they've been talking about in advance. But yeah, let us know. Would you like to see a Lando film? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. If you're a user of Hulu, good news. There's been a little update to the streaming service where you can now see like a top 15 of the films and shows that are available. This is all based on viewing habits and what people have been watching. It's essentially a trending tab and kind of follows what we've seen on Disney Plus and Netflix. And it's going to be updated daily, sort of showing what's popular on Hulu. There's a lot of stuff on there, and I think it's like, you kind of think like, what do you mean? You've just got this idea now? I mean, Netflix have been having a lot of success with it. I am really hoping that this also translates and moves over to Disney Plus at some point, and they update that trending tab and give us something a little bit more concrete with how they're doing it. I think it's a great way of showing what's popular on Disney Plus and on Hulu. And in general, I think just like these trending tabs, often it's just a case of you can kind of get in there and you see what other things are kind of going on around now. It's extra publicity. And yeah, just sometimes is where you get little like hidden gems will suddenly get a lot of attention and people will be watching it. So I think this is good. And it's good just for Hulu to be getting new features. You kind of think, why are they getting new features now? But hopefully, like I said, they might move that one over and kind of can expand on it on Disney Plus. But let us know. Are you going to be using this new feature? Let me know in the comments below. Let's now talk about Disney's subscriber numbers, because way back when Disney Plus initially launched, they said that they were going to try and hit about 90 million subscribers by the end of 2024. And they have gone way past that. We are at like about 140 plus million. At one point it was 160 million, but it dropped after Disney lost the Indian cricket rights, and therefore millions of subscribers in India have left because of losing that access. But back at the Investors Day in 2020, they updated their initial targets to be hitting between about 230 and 260 million subscribers by the end of 2024. Last year, they pulled that one back by about 15 million, sort of going between 215 and 245. And apparently, according to a report from Bloomberg, they're going to be tens of millions off of that. I mean, maybe they don't even hit 200 million. Obviously, right now, there's a big promotion on trying to get people onto Disney Plus and trying to do a real good promotion. We're seeing more push with the ad tier. We've seen, obviously, this past week with the Charter deal, where now they've added millions of subscribers through that system. So they're obviously going to continue to grow, but I mean, we could all see this of what was going to happen with the pandemic. Everybody was at home. Everyone subscribed. Everyone kind of went back to work. You know, we've had the almost like a recession. Obviously got the issues here in Europe. And yeah, so subscriber numbers have come down and they just continue to grow. I mean, if they kept hold of those Indian subscribers, it might not have looked as bad on paper. But on paper, those ones weren't actually bringing as much money as they were internationally. So spending billions of dollars on cricket rights when it's not bringing in billions, you can see why they dropped it. But unfortunately, the sub numbers are going to suffer from that. This might also be a case of trying to get us ready for the idea that those subscriber numbers are going to be much less when they do their next quarterly results next month. And just kind of, again, setting the tone. They're still going to obviously hit some targets. I think the main one they're looking forward to getting in 2024 is making sure that Disney Plus is profitable. That is the one that they're more focused on right now than having subscribers. It's like any business. It's all very fine being really, really busy and having lots and lots of customers. But if you're not making any money off those customers, then there's not a lot of point. Then that's kind of the key thing now. But yeah, so they're going to be missing that target. I think we all pretty much knew that anyway, but at least now I think Disney kind of setting the tone really with that one there. But let us know, do you think they're going to hit the target? What do you think it's going to be? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that in the comments below. So as we all know, this year, Disney has gone on a massive cancelling spree, cancelling so many shows on Disney Plus, on Hulu, and on linear. But they're not the only ones. We've seen Warner Brothers Discovery do the same thing with Max and other stations and streaming services cancel stuff. This has been going on for decades. It's nothing new. However, some new report from Variety shows that Disney has been really, really hitting that cancellation button a lot, much more than Netflix, because Netflix kind of has this tendency. But the big real reason why both HBO Max and Disney have been kind of had such bad numbers this year were those big write-offs where they just took the axe and just cancelled so many shows, and they've been really hitting it hard. So therefore the numbers are artificially high at the minute. Now, according to this report, Max stood out at top at 26.9%, which is obviously the highest of the streaming services. Disney Plus at 21.1% and Hulu at 15.2%. Now, personally, I actually mix those two together because obviously for us international folks, all those shows pretty much are on Disney Plus. There's no kind of differential. So Disney's really been hitting hard. I mean, they've cancelled so many shows this year. Some of them just haven't hit, and therefore it makes sense for them to do so. Other ones you kind of think like, why did you do that? But yeah, so generally we can really see on numbers that Disney has really been cutting, but they're not the only studio to be cancelling stuff. All of them do it. Apple TV kind of come out the best, but then let's be honest, did they make it enough shows to warrant cancelling? Who knows? Nobody would watch them. But I think that's the kind of key thing. I mean, I'm hoping that with Disney now being more inclined to be doing a more curated list of content, kind of making more content that's better than rather just flooding out loads and loads of stuff that just doesn't work and cancelling stuff. So I'm hoping, maybe in a few years' time, this number will drastically be a little bit less because they're being a little bit more careful over what they're greenlighting rather than just, well, during the pandemic, it was like, here's a show, here's a show, here's a show. Everyone gets a show. So, yeah, it's not good, but in some ways, hopefully the worst of these cancellations are behind us now. Whether or not we get a second wave once all the strikes are over and they sort of looking at what they're doing and stuff. But yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot less shows moving forward. But hopefully, like I said, they might get cancelled less. But there's always going to be some sort of stinkers that don't do well, and they're going to want to get rid of them. That's kind of standard thing with television. It's been like that for decades. But hopefully, yeah, we'll just get a little bit less of this. But let us know what you think of these cancellations in the comments below. Disney's also announced some of its details on its upcoming Hallowstream and Halloween events, which are going to be taking place later this month through to the end of the October. Obviously, this is all for Halloween. A few new things kind of got revealed. So we got the new trailer for Goosebumps. Well, it looks okay. I mean, I'm not good with scary stuff anyway. But this just looks, I'll give it a go. But I'm not necessarily looking at Goosebumps going, oh, that's a show that I want to watch. The trailer was like, okay, yeah, I'll give it a go because it's on Disney Plus. If it was on Netflix or Max, I wouldn't even bother. I'm just being honest with it. That doesn't quite do a lot for me. They've also announced they're going to be releasing a in-color version of Werewolf by Night on the 20th of October. So if you want to watch Werewolf by Night but in color, it's going to be there. So good, I suppose. I mean, that seems a bit cheesy and a bit lame, but also today Werewolf by Night has been added onto Hulu, and it's going to be on there until the end of October. So if you're a Hulu subscriber and you don't have Disney Plus, you can watch it there. Good way of getting extra views. you're definitely seeing kind of a blending of the lines between these two. Even the press release was the two together. And you're starting to see a lot more stuff now with these kind of shows coming in and press releases. They are starting to get ready for that merger, I feel. Other things as well, generally coming, they got Haunted Mansion coming in. They also revealed that the Boogeyman that will be arriving as well onto Hulu in the US. I suspect internationally we'll be getting there. Also new trailers and stuff for the Appendage. And yeah, so there's going to be plenty of scary stuff, but most of the more gory stuff's on Hulu. And yeah, it's always a good time, I think, if you're a fan of these kind of scary movie stuff. Personally, not for me, but I'd love to know what you're going to be watching on Hallowstream and also Huluween. Love to hear those in the comments below. We've also got a big update on Disney looking to sell some of his ABC channels. Now, earlier this year during an event with CNBC, Disney Bob Iger said that, linear wasn't necessarily core to their business anymore, and they're kind of looking at options to maybe sell some channels. And there's been reports that Disney is looking to sell some of its regional channels. Now, it's important to note that Disney own about 8 regional channels. They're in different regions like Chicago and like Wisconsin and stuff like that. So they've got 8 channels. But there's actually about 250 ABC affiliate channels, and they don't own all of them. They only own 8 out of the 250. So I can kind of see why Disney might be going, well, we've got these other 242 channels that we don't own, so let's just sell the 8 that we do own because we can make a little bit of money. They could be worth billions of dollars, 2-3 billion. So those ones are apparently kind of maybe up for sale. Nexstar are apparently they've been in early talks to buy it, according to Bloomberg. There was also another report from Bloomberg saying that Bryon was he's actually putting a bid for $10 billion for some of those channels, but in addition to like the FX and National Geographic channels. Disney put out a statement saying that they've not agreed to anything. They haven't made a decision, essentially along the lines of, we haven't made a deal yet, and it's too early to talk about it. But the fact that they put out that little, very, very small little announcement that they haven't made a decision yet says to me that the deal's just not done. But if you've got 2 companies doing stuff, this is interesting. It could help offset some of the costs for buying Hulu, writing off some of the debt from buying 20th Century Fox. Now, again, it's not necessarily that ABC Signature Studios or ABC News Studios. The studios that make the content are fine. Same thing with National Geographic and FX. They're literally looking at maybe selling off those linear channels, and especially with ABC, those are affiliate channels that they don't own the vast majority of channels around the country. So why not get rid of the 8 that they owe? Yeah, it's catch-22. I mean, obviously they make deals and stuff with companies like Charter to host them, but I'm sure all they could get worked out. But it's coming up to the end of the financial year this month. We're seeing this stuff with Hulu. We're seeing, if they could get Hulu for maybe, 8-7 billion, and then they get like 3-4 billion, maybe 10 billion for some channels, could kind of wipe that out and kind of make that okay. Yeah, lots of movement, lots of stuff going on. Things are starting to shift forward, which is good. So yeah, there's definitely, I feel like, a massive for sale sign out there, but they haven't quite changed it to sold. So things could move very quickly on that one. But yeah, so there's definitely some movement on those channels. And that's what just show Disney moving more into streaming. But again, doesn't mean they're getting rid of ABC News channels and, they're getting rid of like Grey's Anatomy and stuff like that. It just means they're looking to get rid of those linear channels that they don't necessarily need to own. But let us know what you think about all that in the comments below. With it being Friday, let's talk about what's new on Disney Plus. And well, after Wednesday, where we had a flood of content, today, one thing. Lang Lang Plays Disney, which is a musical special. I want to watch that later. I probably will just put it on in the background because it's music. I have been listening to this album that he released recently, which does contain him just playing. I mean, just like nice, soft Disney music for a piano. Just sounds lovely. I like listening to this kind of stuff while I'm editing and sort of putting stuff together when I've got to concentrate. So yeah, so that is the main new release. It's a very light one compared to it. But obviously, the thing they really want you to do is head to the cinema and go see A Haunting in Venice, which is out now in cinemas. I was kind of toying with the idea of going and see it this weekend, but Scary movies again. I've said before, scary movies aren't necessarily my big thing. But let's now jump into the comment of the day. So JR said, I'm very excited for the new season of Dancing with the Stars. Are we going to have Dancing with the Stars Junior? So I did actually have to have a look at this, because Dancing with the Stars Junior was a single series that ran for one season about in 2018. Hasn't been back on our screen since then. So I'm guessing no, and I don't know necessarily if that's something that they could do. Obviously, how much more difficult it is making a show like that with kids, the hours working and all the rest of it. Yeah, so I don't think we're necessarily going to be getting a junior one, but yeah, so Dancing with the Stars does hit back on Disney Plus in the US and in Canada later this month. Hopefully with the rest of the world get it, but who knows, no official announcements or anything like that soon. But yeah, literally tomorrow night Strictly Come Dancing comes back, so that's the UK version, which is actually the original version, because the Dancing with the Stars is based on the UK one, but nevertheless. But let us know what you're going to be watching on Disney Plus this weekend. Are you looking forward to watching the upcoming Dancing with the Stars? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well. And on that note, guys, thank you very much. See you guys soon. Laters.